So next question, how have you found my practicing meditation has impacted your life? Has it positively impacted it? And how have you found that practicing meditation allows you to approach situations differently?
Yeah. To start with, I struggled a lot with meditation at the beginning, to be very honest. It wasn't something I heard about it. I heard about it thousands of times. I've read a few books about it and all of that. I studied NLP, neuro linguistic program. I studied emotional intelligence. I studied many things, and meditation is consistently around. It's always around. As soon as you start talking about personal development and that type of thing, it's always around. As soon as you start reading the books, the biography of any successful person on the planet, meditation is around. So I was like, okay, I want to have a look at it and all that. I want to see how it goes. And I tried. And honestly, at the beginning, it was very difficult. I couldn't go with it. It was too long. And for me, it was very confusing as well. So I rejected it a few times actually. And then one day I came across a methodology that was actually suggesting to have a shorter meditation, like a very short meditation, and like literally pretty much like a couple of minutes or 5 minutes meditation. And I was saying to myself, okay, that's interesting. That's not those 15, 20 or 35 minutes or 45 minutes that I was trying to do. It's like 5 minutes is actually easy to digest. I could see myself a lot easier to put that somewhere in my day. So I was like, okay, that sounds more interesting. And so I knew already, based on the theory that I studied around meditation, that there was a benefit around the meditation, which was to be able to calm down the emotion. And if you look at myself 10, 15 years ago, I was someone that had absolutely no emotional control, in a way that where my emotions were arising, regardless of the emotion, I was completely driven by them, which is not a bad thing. It's all right. But in some situation, it was a little bit spicy, I would say so. So when I was getting angry, I was getting extremely angry. And the problem is it spoiled some relationship that I should have had, for business or something like this or whatever. So one day I realized, I was like, it would be good for me to find a way to kind of put a filter, if you prefer. And so that's how I really started to look into meditation. So once I was able to find that little express meditation of 5 minutes, I wanted to try it. And I tried it. And at that moment, I grabbed something that worked for me. And I remember going from situations where I was very frustrated, a bit of anger, a bit upset, which is, emotions that we experience on a daily basis as human beings for everyone. But I was able to find a way to dispose of that emotion and being able to move forward. So I tried that a few times. I struggled a little bit, but the more I was practicing, the more I realizing I was getting better at it. And the massive impact that it had was the fact that in a situation at work, I'm getting very frustrated for whatever reason, but I have to enter into this very important meeting. I cannot afford to have that emotion impacting the way that I'm going to deliver what I have to deliver during that meeting, or I'm not going to be present in the meeting because my head is not there, my mindset is not there. So it really helped me to get reset my mindset, reset whatever I'm thinking, my emotions, before walking into some very important meetings or that type of things. And then when I push that to the extreme, I put that in my daily life and so on and so on. It actually helped me to make big decisions a lot quicker and a lot easier. And I was at peace with whatever I was making as a decision. So it helped me to make sure that whatever decision I was taking, they were taken from a neutral mindset, not taken from being angry, frustrated, upset, or sad, or that type of thing, or in a moment of grief or something like this. Like, it was really more, there was more thought behind it, as simple as that. So meditation helped me to do that a lot. And because I could see the benefit of it, I kept putting this more and more and more and more and more, to a point now that meditation is part of my routine. But sometimes I meditate, I don't even realize that I'm doing it.
Wow, that's incredible that you're able to build it up see that it has such positive effects on your life. So when you say that you're able to approach a situation with a neutral mindset, is that so regardless of what's happened like 5 minutes before or what's about to happen in the future, you're able to remove yourself from the past and the future and just be in the present and make decisions based on what's happening to you then and there?
Yes. So meditation will actually anchor you in the present. If you have a look at what's happening in the past, you're going to carry with you emotions such as anger, such as frustration, and being upset. That's what you're going to bring from the past. If you have a look at the future, basically you're going to project yourself in a future situation. And this is where the stress is coming, by the way. Stress is not something present. Stress is when you think about a situation that is in the future that hasn't happened yet. And you picture yourself, oh my gosh, tomorrow I'm going to have to go to work and I'm going to have so much work to do. Or tomorrow I'm going to have that family dinner, that family lunch, and I'm going to see that uncle that stresses me out all the time. I don't want to talk to him or something like this, right? So you have all those situations, but the stress is linked to the future. Anger, sadness, and frustration is more linked to the past. So meditation create that kind of bubble that separates the past and the future and focus on what's happening in the present. Every single person, when they do a meditation session on the moment, we're talking about the second, the microsecond, that's what the present is. The word that I'm saying now is already in the past. That's how it goes, right? So if you think about the meditation right now at the moment, if I'm asking you right now to this very specific second, how do you feel? How do you feel right now?
I feel good, a little bit tired, but overall good and happy.
Right. So if I was going to that very, very specific second about like, what is it that makes you feel tired or something like this, you need to dig into your body to be able to understand where the tiredness comes from and all of that. But then if you really focus on this, everything else disappears. Everything else disappears. The stress, the anger, the sadness, and all that type of thing, everything else disappears. And the only thing that you're going to feel is what your body can give you physically speaking. And tiredness, for example, can be manifested in your body as having the muscle a bit relaxed. And this is actually what you feel. So it's not tired, it's actually relaxed muscle. Stress might have the impact that your body are feeling tense. So what you feel on the moment is actually a bit of tension in your body. The fact that you call that stress is just the way that we want to call it, but it's just tension into the body. And that's what meditation helps you to realize, is focus just on the moment.
Wow, okay. So if you're able to focus, if meditation is able to help you focus on the moment, does that also mean that the words that you speak in the moment are a bit more mindful and well thought out because you're not putting pressure on yourself to be thinking about what's about to happen or what has just happened? You're completely in the moment, and so what you're saying and how you're acting is going along with that?
100%. You nailed it, 100%. So there's only two things you can control: your thoughts and your actions. All the rest is not in our control. I cannot control your thoughts, I cannot control your action, but I can only control mine. So from the moment that you control your thoughts, because you meditate and you put yourself into the bubbles, you basically control your emotional state. Because you control your emotional state, you control your thought. Because you control your thought, then you're going to be able to influence your action and so control your actions as well. So the actions that you are taking are actually a lot more thoughtful because they're not emotionally driven. Now, don't get me wrong, there is absolutely nothing wrong about emotions. Emotion is important, and I always tell people around me, never suppress your emotion. This is the worst thing ever you can do. But it's actually, you just want to add an extra step, is if your emotion is there, embrace it. Embrace it as much as possible, but embrace it quick, fast and furious if you have to, and that's it. Once you embrace your emotion, then you add that extra step, which is you embrace your emotion, you do meditation to reset yourself, and then you move forward. But this is the gatekeeper. Meditation is the gatekeeper between your emotion that you embrace, and what you need to do later on, because you need to be aware that the impact of your emotion when you're emotionally driven can have a huge impact on your life, on your daily life. And it can affect it in a very nasty way sometimes. Very, very nasty way.
Wow, that is so interesting, and how it's just something so simple. Even 2 minutes can really take you from one moment where you're feeling maybe sad or upset to then moving on and getting on with your day, but also still having that time to process and feel those emotions, but then continuing on with your day and not letting that hinder the rest of your day.
Absolutely. And so after that, I don't get me wrong as well, is the fact that meditation will not completely erase what's happening. If there is grief, because there is a loss or something like this or whatever, a 2-minute meditation will not help you to get over it. That's the truth. It won't help you get over it. It won't help you to get rid of it, but it will help you on the moment to put yourself back together, because on the moment you need to be in one piece for whatever reason, for whatever something needs to happen or whatever. I really use meditation as a key when I know you need to be in one piece right now. You need to be together. Okay, meditate quickly, like refocus on yourself or whatever. And then whatever the emotion I have to deal with, if I cannot deal with those emotions on the moment, then I'll keep them for later. I'll keep them for a moment where I can unleash whatever I have to unleash, the sadness, the anger, the frustration or something like this or whatever. I'll do that later. But I don't want to have this emotion impacting my decisions in a nasty way.
Okay. So now that we've talked about the positive impacts that meditation can have, how does one do a meditation session? Like, what does an ideal meditation session look like? And could you explain perhaps what your meditation session looks like, and how someone like me or anyone else that's watching who is perhaps a beginner to meditation, how we can incorporate it and what it might look like for us?
Excellent. Right. So an ideal meditation session. So the first thing you need to do, like I said before, you need to put yourself in a bubble. So first you need to find a space where you know that physically nothing will come and disturb you. And I'm really saying just physically, okay? So nothing will come to touch you or something like that. No one will come to touch you or something like this, right? Now, there might be some disturbance such as noise and all of that, things like this. That's okay, that's something separate. So you put yourself somewhere where you know that you're gonna be able to have 2 minutes of quiet time. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need to create that kind of shell around you. So I love to use headphones, because the headphones will help to cut the sound that is around me. Some people, they love to go for a walk, being in the nature and something like this that help them to put themselves in the bubble. Some people are really good at putting themselves in the bubble without anything around them. Like, some people are fantastic for that. So you need to get yourself into that mindset where basically you kind of switch off your ear or whatever is happening. Once you get that, you close your eyes, because you don't want to be disturbed by something that is visually around you. You close your eyes and basically you just focus on breathing. What you're going to do is you're going to go inspire, you're going to hold your breath for a little bit, and then you're going to expire. The rule that I use is the 3-3-3. You inspire for 3 seconds, hold your breath for 3 seconds, expire for 3 seconds. Okay, so if I give an example, that would be, so I would sit down, being straight, my back wants to be straight because I want to be able to open up my chest to breathe normally, and I will go like this. Just like this. When I did what I just did right now, what I was thinking of, what I was picturing is I focused on the air going through my nose. I imagined that I was inspiring, I was breathing in some positive vibes, if you prefer. Then I imagine that I hold everything up here, I let them have a bit of those positive thoughts, and then when I expired, I just let go all the negative ones. Inspire positive, expire negative. That's a nice way to do that. But what is very important is to focus on your breathing. Simple as this. So you need to make sure that you stand straight and you focus on your breathing. Now, there's some little here's what's going to happen when you have a meditation session. While you do this exercise, you might be able to keep the focus on your breathing for about 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, because here's what's going to happen. A thought is going to pop up into your mind. And that's where people are struggling with meditation. And that's why people think they failed at doing a meditation session, is because there's too many thoughts in their mind. So these little thoughts, I call them clouds. Those clouds are completely natural. Just like in the sky, you cannot get rid of the clouds. You don't have control over it. So whenever a cloud pops up right there, you need to make the conscious decision to not engage with this cloud, which means you're not going to engage in this thought. For example, I do my meditation session and the cloud that pops in is like, oh, you have to do a report for tomorrow at work. I can start to engage with that. I can start to go into the detail of the report. What are you going to have to do? When is it supposed to be due? And so on and so on. And without realizing, I'm going to think for it for about 5 minutes. Or I can just say, nothing. I know that there's a report I have to do for work, but I don't engage with that, nothing. So basically, I don't want to engage with this thought. I'm just going to let it fly. And in order to not engage with it, I'm going to refocus on my breathing. So I acknowledge the fact that there's a cloud, great, but I don't want to engage with it, so I refocus on my breathing. If I engage with it, there's nothing wrong. Catch yourself engaging with that thought and focus on your breathing again. If you're able to do that, then you master meditation. Meditation is about being in the moment, acknowledging the fact that something is disturbing you, and acknowledging the fact that you don't need that right now, and you refocus again on your breathing, okay? So it's a very simple tip, but I love using this. Another one as well that you can add in order to increase your focus on the moment is, you know, like there's many people when they do meditation, they put their hands like this. So they put like 2 of their fingers together like that. The idea behind it is to focus on the contact that you have between those 2 fingers. And if you think about it right now, if you focus on just on the contact between these 2 fingers, think about the way they touch each other, and think also about the resistance between them and the friction between those 2 fingers. If you focus on that and the feelings behind it, nothing else exists. There is no emotion, there is no stress, there is no anger, there is no sadness. You're just focusing on the physical fact that your 2 fingers are touching together. You can use that. You can use your breathing, one or the other. There's lots and lots of other tips, but these are the one that I always use. The session lasts for 2 minutes. I love having like a background noise, like, you know, like a little river, water running or something like this. And at the end of my 2 minutes, there's a little gong that comes, and that's very nice noise. So I'm using an app called Calm. And if you use the app Calm, you actually can have like in the free version of it, you can actually put a timer with 2, 5 or 10 minutes if you want. But this for me is more than enough, and I achieve the result that I want with that. So that's how I do my ideal session. And as you can see, when you do that, in this space of 2 minutes, let's be honest, in this space of 2 minutes, you can have 15 different thoughts, 15 different clouds that can come and disturb you. This is completely fine. There is nothing wrong about it, okay? What is important is to acknowledge that they're here and the fact that you're not going to engage with them.
Have you found that even though you've been practicing meditation for a while now, do you still get lots of thoughts coming in when you practice even if you're in the most ideal situation and you've got no physical or sound disturbances, do you find that you still sometimes get lots of thoughts popping in as well?
Yes, it doesn't reduce actually. It actually never decreases. The thoughts are still there. I think your brain functions in a certain way, and it's going to keep functioning in that way. It could obviously change if you are very sick, or for whatever reason you want to do meditation while you're drunk. It's definitely gonna change something like that. But if you do your meditation when you're sober and perfectly healthy and all of that, the number of thought that pops in is never going to change. What's going to change is your efficiency to not engage with them. So in the beginning, it might take you 20 seconds to acknowledge the cloud, realize that the cloud is there, and dissociate yourself from it. It might take 20 seconds. The more you practice, the quicker you're going to become. And now it takes, I would say, a couple of seconds, if not less, to do all that process, to acknowledge and release that cloud. So you're just getting better at it. And basically, if you think about it, if you talk about 2-minute meditation, at the beginning, you might have 15 thoughts that put all together will take 1 minute and 45 seconds of your attention. So basically on the 2 minutes, you actually really meditate for 15 seconds. The more you do it, you're going to change the thing. So later on, when you do 2-minute meditation, you're going to have 1 minute 45 of pure meditation, where you really focus on yourself, your breathing and your fingers, for example, and 15 seconds of get rid of the cloud, get rid of the cloud, get rid of the cloud, get rid of the cloud.
Okay, so it's not about the number of thoughts that come in, it's just your reaction to them and how quickly you can think and let them go again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So what if someone doesn't have access to a phone or a device and can't use an app like Calm? Is there another way that they can still engage with meditation? Can people set a timer on their phone perhaps, or use a clock? Is there another alternative that people could use if they aren't able to get an app?
Yeah, so what I recommend to people is to find something that makes them feel peaceful, something that makes them feel at peace, right? So it could be anything. For some people, it could be just looking outside the window and, just staring at the wind going into the branches and that type of thing. It could make people feeling at peace. For some others, like I said, it could be like a walk in the nature. That could be really helpful. I've seen some other people, they're doing meditation underwater, because if you put yourself underwater, then basically it completely creates that kind of muffles around your ear, and it's quite nice. I don't recommend it because just you need to make sure you hold your breath for that. But sometimes people just put their head back and they just have water to cover the ears. And this is enough just to create that kind of wall of sound if you prefer. But safety, I wouldn't recommend to do that, but that's all right. So some people also are very good to do that. Like I said, they're sitting by themselves and they just sit right there and they can just completely switch off everything around them because they focus so much on their breathing or their fingers that they're able to switch everything off. So some people are really able to do that. So whatever it is, I recommend people to find something that makes them feel peaceful. Either be it a piece of music, either be it a picture, either whatever it is, make them feel peaceful. The trick is that whatever it is that makes them peaceful, most of the time there is a story that is linked to it. This is where it becomes a bit tricky, is the fact that when people do the meditation, then they feel at peace because they think about that story. But if you think about a story, you're engaging with your cloud. So basically you're not in the present right there. So it's a very, it's an exercise, it requires practice to be able to take the piece out of the story, but not taking the story for what it is. So that's a very, very tricky exercise to do. But yeah, so everyone should try different situation, different position. In terms of position, for some people, normally when you see people doing meditation, they sit down on the floor, For me, it's a very uncomfortable position. I have a hard time to sit down on the floor. My legs get stiffed and my back doesn't get supported like I would like to. So I love doing meditation actually sitting on a chair or on a couch with cushion behind my back, just to make sure that my back is straight so I can breathe properly or something like this.
Well, that's been so interesting, and I know I've learned a lot more about meditation and how I could easily start. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to this video?
Well, I think that meditation is sometimes underestimated. I think you have extremes. You either have people that are huge aficionados of meditation, that they do that every single day and everything, and so you're gonna see it would be interesting to ask people around you, are you meditating? Ask two people around you, do you do meditation or something like this? And what I found personally is that every single person that is around me that meditates is actually someone that is, I don't want to say successful, because successful is a very subjective thing, but they are clear. They seem to know where they're going. They seem to be in control of what's happening to their life. That's the word. You feel that these people control what's happening to their life. And so it's very interesting when you read those biography of very famous people. Most of them are meditating, and they say, yes, it helped me to make clearer decisions and all of that. So meditation is really important for that. It really brings you that clarity around that. So what I found very interesting as well with meditation is it goes way above and beyond the meditation. The meditation is the first step. Once you're able to do that first step of meditation and you're able to reduce your stress, ask yourself, what would you do if you were less stressed in your life? What would you do if you were able to control a little bit more your emotions? You know, all that type of things. And what I love to say is the brain is like a machine. A machine with, you know, all the mechanics and all the little clogs and all of that and so on, right? All these little wheels that are interconnected to each other. As human beings, although we know that the brain is a machine, we are not interested about how it works. As long as it works, we're happy with it. But the day that it breaks down, we're like, oh, crap, what am I supposed to do with that now? So what I love to do, and that's my methodology when it comes to the coaching in general, is to say, okay, the brain is a machine, and we have all these little wheels that works together. How about we have a look on how they work together, how they interact with each other, and how about trying to put a little bit more oil on there and there and there, just so it turns a bit better and it goes a bit better and it goes a bit smoother and that type of things. And for me, meditation is the very first wheel in that overall process. And basically through all the next videos that we're going to have together, we're going to kind of look at all these different wheels one by one and seeing that meditation will create an impact on the next thing. In the next video, we're going to talk about awareness, and we're going to see the importance of meditation related to awareness, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So for me, it's really like the opportunity to bring the awareness about how our brain function and how we can improve the functionment of our brain. There's some saying out there that says that the brain, we only use our brain to 15 or 20% of its capacity. So think about if we were just able to use 30% of the brain capacity, we would have fantastic results. So I think that's about it about meditation. Is a great way to reduce the stress, and I really, really encourage you to try that and have fun with it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and giving us your time on meditation and the benefits and positivity it can have on your life. Join us for the next video, as Sofian mentioned, about awareness, and we hope that you got something out of this, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
See you next time.